he prides himself on his consistency where like every year at the end of the year, he's got 1,300 yards, but getting to that 1,300 yards is the least consistent thing that you've ever seen in your life.
You're listening to Let's Talk Fantasy Football, where men of fantasy genius have realized, hey guys, we don't need real football skills to dominate on the fantasy field. Yeah. So slap on your pads and grab your helmet. Shit's about to get real.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Let's Talk Fantasy Football. I'm your host tonight. My name is Nick Walsh, and I am here with the one, the only, the man with the beard and the hair that everyone loves. That's Vinny Gonzalez. Vinny, what's going on, dude?
What's going on, Walsh? You are the man with the also hair and also mustache, which it just like keeps kicking more ass the more times I like see it.
Thanks, man. I think I'm going to keep it through the holidays and probably get rid of it in early 2020. But I appreciate that.
That's a good plan too.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I won't. Well, I don't know. I don't understand or know things. I keep having dreams where I cut my hair and then I wake up really angry. I don't know if that's a sign of things, but
I've woken up in a cold sweat a few times because like sometimes I'll like be on my hair and I guess I'm like stuck in my dream state and I get this off.
You're like pulling on it a little bit or whatever.
Yeah, and then I just wake up and like, thank God I still have this.
Yeah, that's the thing is every dream where I cut my hair, like in the dream, I start regretting it really, really hard. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, thank God. Anyway, guys, we are here to preview Week 11. So this will be part one of the Week 11 preview. We do apologize for not getting a recap up this week. Real life hit us all pretty hard. I'm pretty sure a lot of us were at weddings this past weekend and just had a lot of things to do. And you know, this entire week pretty much. I think like between weddings and like trips out of state and that kind of thing, like we were all doing stuff. I think so. I mean, this weekend
getting close to the holidays too, so we're always running around like crazy.
Yeah, which I mean, we were just talking about it, you know, before we started recording this. Like I had a great time at the wedding that I was at, and Vinny, you said you did as well. It should be punishable by death to get married during football season.
On a Sunday, I'll take it. But like on a Friday, I appreciate that because then I can chill Saturday. And then Sunday, I'm just like pretty much dead anyway. So
yeah, I
enjoyed the weekend to the fullest. I know you were traveling around and that kind of, you like lost a day, basically 2 days.
Yeah, I flew to Chicago from San Francisco on Friday night. Got there, partied way too late. And then woke up, went to like a day wedding, partied way too late again. And then woke up and flew back and was just like so shot for the entire Sunday of football that like I hardly watched like a single bit of it because I was just like in and out of consciousness on my couch, like cold sweating. But you know, that's what you do after a weekend of heavy drinking, I guess.
That's commendable as hell too. I do back-to-back days and I'm in the hospital. Like I can't do that anymore, like at all.
Yeah, back-to-back days is really, really hard. Like I didn't feel normal again until like Tuesday night. I don't know. I've realized like after a long weekend like that, we're spending way too much time now talking about football. But there's two things that I need to do in order to like feel better. And I normally like after a long weekend, I can't get the motivation to do either of them until like Tuesday night. And that's like work out in some sense, like go for a run or something and call my mom. And like, once I've done those two things, like I feel like 1,000 times better, but it always takes me until Tuesday night to like work myself up to that, you know?
Oh yeah, dude, you're just in a haze after that. Like after those 2 days, you're just like, I'm not a person. I'm just moving around doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're back to normal now. We're ready to go through Week 11. For the first time in a couple podcasts, I am not drinking vodka off the fridge because last time I got a little bit too drunk. So I apologize if that was your first episode because it probably wasn't too much fun for you. And I apologize if it wasn't your first episode because it also probably wasn't that fun for you. But you know, we'll do a little bit better this time. I'm back on the good old Budweisers. So Vin, let's get started here with the bye weeks. You put that there are 6 teams on bye. There are not. There are 4 teams on bye.
I copy and pasted this, dude. I'm sorry. I did a really, really bad job. I was like, Walsh didn't send me the outline, which you did sort of, but
I mean, I made one and then I sent it to the wrong person. Again, this whole week has just been so bad.
And then I made a bad one because I thought I was helping. While I was at work getting slammed, I'm like, please, I need to do something this week.
Yeah. All right. So we have 4 teams on bye here. It is the Green Bay Packers, the New York Giants, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Tennessee Titans. So, that's a lot of fantasy relevant players. I think that can definitely affect you this week, just depending on how your teams are structured. And then just for full disclosure, we're recording this during the Steelers-Browns game on Thursday night. So we're not going to be previewing that, obviously. If you had any questions about that game, we're sorry we didn't get to preview it. You also put here that Antonio Callaway was finally released. I didn't see that. Is that true?
That is true, yes.
That's good. I lost a lot of money on that guy last year.
Now he might get signed by the Raiders.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just saying they do need wide receiver help. So I feel like he could potentially.
It's like if that's like a link that's been made, then I'm ready to get frustrated by Antonio Callaway all over again. But hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they do not sign him, and hopefully we're able to move forward, all being nice and happy and joyful going into the holidays here. You got anything else before we get into these games, man?
No, not really. We spent a lot of time talking about weddings and shit, so let's get into it.
All right. So we are going to start here with the Texans at the Ravens. This game's going to be fucking sick. The Ravens are a 4-point favorite. The over-under is 51.5. The 2 quarterbacks in this game are 2 of, at the very, very worst, you would say that the top 5 MVP candidates in the league. So this is going to be a great matchup. I am very excited. Let's start on the Texans side of the ball with Deshaun Watson. This Ravens secondary has really tightened up in recent weeks. They got Jimmy Smith back from injury. Marlon Humphreys has been a stud all year long. And then they traded for Marcus Peters. So, whereas before they were sort of shadowing Humphrey on the best receiver on the team, now it seems like they're working Smith and Peters on the outsides, letting Humphrey be in the slot where he really, really excels. And they've been studly. They've been great. I know it was against the Bengals this past week and Ryan Finley. But what do you think about Watson's situation this week? And obviously you're not going to sit him, but what are your expectations?
So I'll bring up my situation, which is I have Watson and Breeze, and I'm like in that weird spot where I'm like, I can't sit Watson, but he's got the rougher matchup clearly because Breeze is going up against, fucking Tampa, who gives up everything. So it's like a little tempting, but you're right. You cannot sit Deshaun Watson. You have to play him. I just think it's going to be a high scoring game. Like the over under already is at 51.5. So that's going to be pretty wild. And, Deshaun Watson is just pretty much undeniable at this point. It's going to be a rough go, I think. Maybe early on for them, but I think they're going to wind up playing catch up for a decent majority of this game and then probably make it closer in the later quarters. So I still do think that Watson still has that window where he can probably get you 18 to 25 points. And then Lamar Jackson on the other side, he has a way easier test and he's always just been up in the 20 points. So I feel like he could be up in the 30-point range this game.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, Jackson's a no-brainer. He might be, the number 1 quarterback play of the week. Deshaun Watson, I agree with you. I think it's a tough sit. I definitely would consider it with that Breeze one that you're talking about.
Don't even talk to me about it. I'm so sick of looking at it myself. I don't need any more
just
any more
stressing out.
I'm just playing Watson, so I don't even need to hear it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, like I said, it is a bit of a tough matchup, but Watson's such a great quarterback, and they are going to produce no matter what. Vegas agrees with you with the over-under at 51.5 that this is going to be a high-scoring game. So I have no problems with playing Watson there. The other news in terms of the Texans is that Will Fuller has been limited in practice. I think he's likely to come back. Are you at all interested in playing him, or is he just a guy that, hey, if he was on your waiver, you should be owned at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could roster him, but I feel like he's as playable as he was when he was kind of doing his thing this year, which was pretty much being kind of a dud and then blowing up that 1 week. So I wouldn't expect too much, especially with like the cornerbacks that the Ravens have. They're just tough as hell. So I wouldn't be holding my breath for a good game, but he is a good get him on your team for some depth. Maybe if, you know, you're bracing yourself for injuries later on in the season as we get closer during playoff pushes. So he's a good, you know, it's kind of hard to say it's a stash right now, but he's a fine pickup right now.
Yeah, I held on to Fuller where I owned him, and where I didn't, I tried to pick him up this week. I was successful in one case. So, you know, it is what it is. I think in terms of the rest of their pass catchers, you're obviously playing Hopkins despite, you know, his limited upside, it seemed like this year. And I think there are better options than the Texans tight ends out there this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you have to play like Darren Fells, like I would not blame you. That's fine. If like this over-under makes me think he could snag a touchdown at some point, but like we're going to hit on a couple of guys that I'd probably rather play over him.
Yeah, I agree with that. So looking at their running backs, we have Carlos Hyde and we have Duke Johnson. The Ravens' run defense, for as good as their pass defense is right now, their run defense is still not great. I'm pretty in on Carlos Hyde this week.
I am too in a weird way. And I'm also on like Duke Johnson for that matter, because Duke Johnson, they've been involving more in the passing game and using him like they should. I think he's had at least 5 targets in the last 4 or 5 games. So I'm really cool with playing either of those guys. And again, we keep mentioning the over and under. They're just going to keep scoring points in this game. Like the Ravens do not stop. So Texans will have to be in full go mode. And I do think that the running backs will eat their fair share in this game as well.
Okay, I like that. On the Ravens side of the ball, we already touched on Lamar Jackson and what an obvious good play he is. Now, Mark Ingram, has not been really as great over the past couple of weeks as he was to start the season. And I think we all could have seen that coming. But is he still a play for you this week against the Texans?
Yeah, absolutely. He just has such touchdown upside. It's insane. Obviously, you know, we've talked about it earlier when he was doing well, like there will be a cliff eventually for Mark Ingram. I don't know if he's exactly reached that yet. And the offense is too good. And Mark Ingram is still very good. So just keep rolling him out there. Don't need to overthink it. Do you think like, I don't know if trade deadline's passed for people, but is he like a trade away for you? Or are you looking to hold?
I feel like the spot where you could have traded him away at that high value is probably gone. So I'm just holding at this point. Like he has been still like a usable guy. And like even last week, he only had 9 carries, still got in the end zone. You know, in a game like this week where we expect it to be a lot more back and forth than last week's matchup, you know, I would think Ingram will be more involved and we'll see somewhere closer to 15 to 18 touches. So, yeah, I'm holding him. I'm not really looking to move him because, like, unless there's someone who I know who like specifically overvalues him, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like people might in your league. Like I was just saying, like I love the Ravens offenses like most people do. And Ingram is like an integral part of that. And I feel like they'll use him like they did in the Patriot game. Like you said, more like the 15, 18 touch range. So I do think he has a good game here, and I do think he has value going forward, which is why I think you can sort of move him if you want and possibly get, you know, fill some holes in your team. But, yeah, I just think he's going to have a great game. And I don't know. I just love Ingram so much. I'm glad. I hate seeing around Ravens doing well, dude. I know. So it hurts me especially. But, yeah, I don't know. I love Ingram.
All right, let's move to their pass catchers. The 2 ones that we need to talk about are Mark Andrews, who sort of bounced back this past week with 8 targets, 5 catches, 2 touchdowns. And then Marquise Brown in his first game back, 4 targets, 4 catches, 80 yards and a touchdown. I'm kind of down with both of them this week. What do you think?
I thought you said you were down on them. I'm like, oh, no. But
no, absolutely not.
Say that. Yeah, I'm with you. I think they could just pretty much repeat their performances. Like Andrews has been so involved and is basically their number one option. Like Brown is still kind of like on the mend with like his ankle issue and stuff and getting limited and not practicing in some spots, especially, you know, this week you have to monitor that as well. But if he is a go, you play that dude because he could easily catch another bomb touchdown or be more involved. He's right behind Andrews in targets. So both of them are way goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So since they've come back from the bye, Nick Boyle has 9 targets. Tight end is Gross.
No.
Okay.
Play like Dallas Goedert instead. Like if you're going to play another tight end who's like behind another preferred tight end in the offense, I'd much rather go like Dallas Goedert.
So in this game, Darren Fells over Nick Boyle.
Yes.
Okay. I agree with you there. Just wanted to throw it out there. Yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens here.
I'm going to take the Texans in a super close one.
This could be like an AFC playoff matchup too, like at some point, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Like the Texans are probably going to win the, you know, either win the division or win the wild card. But yeah, I don't know. This will be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to this game. We didn't mention it, and I feel like we should because we haven't had a podcast since then. Lamar's touchdown run against the Bengals. When I saw it the first time, I landed during football, landed back from Chicago at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. So, you know, the games were about an hour in, and you texted me and you were like, Lamar Jackson, holy shit, or whatever you said. I drove, my roommate picked me up. We went to a pizza place to get a slice of pizza, and I'm sitting at the pizza place at a table waiting for the pizza to come out. And I pull this run up on my phone and watch it. And when he hits that spin move, I involuntarily like scream at the top of my lungs in this restaurant, just like, ah, you know, like, and people look around and like the waiters and stuff, like the wait staff, like look over at me. It was like, oh shit, I'm sorry. Like,
I'm watching a man kill another man and like an entire defense.
Yeah,
dude.
he killed two men with one spin move.
Yeah, he killed five. I don't think they're on the team anymore. They just got fucking shook to death.
You got to retire after that.
Oh yeah, it was disgusting. I could not believe what I was watching. And I don't know if you've seen I follow NFL Throwback on Instagram. They put up the Michael Vick run against the Vikings to seal it in overtime.
Oh yeah.
Side by side, dude. It's so incredible. Like it's unreal.
Yeah, that's Lamar's so good. He's so fun to watch. This will be a really fun game. I'm very glad it's happening.
How did they not flex this game? I feel like I've been bitching about this for weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you would think with two of the most exciting young quarterbacks in the league, they would be like, yeah, let's do this. Well, what did they end up flexing? They ended up flexing
Packers 49ers?
No, that's later on because Green Bay's on the bye.
Yeah.
That game is there no flex this week?
Not this week. That's what I'm saying. Like later on, they flex that game.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I guess it has to be a certain window where you can flex like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, I think it's like I don't think we're in the window where they're able to flex night games yet. Like I think like the shit's all determined until like week 12 or whatever, and then they can flex it.
That makes sense.
Or maybe it's like week 13. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, let's move on here because that was our first game and we're getting way too pumped on it. Let's move on to the Falcons at the Panthers. This is also going to be a high-scoring one. We've got an over-under of 49.5. The Panthers are 4.5-point favorites. We'll start on the Falcons side of the ball, which, it doesn't help that I wasn't really in, like, the right mindset to absorb football fully. But how the fuck did the Falcons just, like, kick the Saints' ass this past week?
I truly do not know. It was kind of one of those things where I'm just like, oh, there goes all of my parlays today. I guess I'm just going to go take a cold shower and sit down.
Normally the box score like explains that shit a little bit too. And like this one just doesn't. Like you look at it and it's just like, yeah, like none of that shows that the Falcons should have beat the Saints in that way.
No. And even when I was watching, I'm like, they're coming back. Like Breeze is just going to have to go to sling it mode and just like it never happened. And the Falcons had more sacks than they had all season, all under Breeze. I was like, how is this even possible right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. But we do have the Falcons at the Panthers this week. The big news for the Falcons offense, Devontae Freeman out for this week. So we're going to have Brian Hill as the starting running back. And, Quadre Olison, I would guess, is going to be active behind him, but I wouldn't expect too much of the work to go to Quadre Olison. And then also Austin Hooper, our beloved Hoop Daddy, expected to be out this week. He will most of the snaps are likely going to go to Luke Stalker there, but Hoop Daddy's target share is not going to go to Luke Stalker, nor do I think is Devontae Freeman's entire target share going to go to Brian Hill. So despite the fact that the Panthers have been a run funnel this year, they've been good against the pass and bad against the run. Are we leaning at the Falcons passing game here just on a pure volume standpoint?
Yeah, you kind of took my take. I was with pretty much everything you said. Like, I'm not like, I know Brian Hill is probably picked up and being started in a lot of leagues. Like, I would be kind of nervous just because it's sort of an unknown. And like, it's weird because the Falcons just never go full go with any running back. So it'd be weird. It's going to be like a 3-person mix, like Brian Hill, Kenyon Barner too, and Quadri Olison, like you said. So
if Olison gets a touchdown, people are going to freak out.
Yes. And like that could totally happen because every time I play Devonta Freeman, like Ito Smith sneaks something in. If Freeman's out, Ito Smith is in there. Brian Hill sneaks in a touchdown. Like it's just they pull off weird shit. They use the running backs very weird. But I'm with you on that. And I think like you're playing Julio. Calvin Ridley, I'm kind of sketched out by. He hasn't really performed too much with like Sanu leaving. And then Russell Gage is kind of intriguing to me as a play.
Yeah, I feel like those two, like if like, and again, I know the Panthers, like this defense, like they're good at stopping the pass. It's worth noting that two of their 3 starting cornerbacks did not practice on Wednesday, and the third was limited. So like maybe that's the pass game opening up. Maybe I'm just trying to rationalize it. But I feel like with Hooper out, like I said, Luke Stalker's not going to take that share. He's not a pass catching tight end. So to me, like Ridley and Gage, I feel like are going to get enough volume in a game where the over under is 49.5. Obviously Julio's a full go in this. I like all of them. I think all of them are startable. And I think Brian Hill against this Panthers defense that hasn't been able to stop the run for shit is also a very, very good play, despite the Falcons' weirdness with committing to giving one guy the ball.
Yeah, I very much agree with everything said.
All right, Panthers side of the ball, play them all.
Yeah, definitely. Like there's the game last week does not scare me. I think that was Dan Quinn fighting for his life. They were off the bye. They planned literally for just this game or just last week's game. So I feel like they're going to be, I don't know, maybe overconfident. And I think their defense is just going to go right back to what it was.
Huge letdown spot too. I know that's a narrative, but like on the road week after like your big divisional win, I know it's another divisional game, but like huge letdown spot.
Yeah, and the Panthers needed to come out and get a win desperately. Like, they've been so close to beating, like, well, not the 49ers, but they hung in there closer than the box score implies. Very close to beating the Packers or sending that to overtime at least. They need to win this game big time. So they're just going to run McCaffrey. I think Allen has a good game, too. He's probably really streamable as well.
Yeah, I think top streamer, probably.
Yeah, I think so, too. Great matchup. Not next to Derek Carr, but we'll get to that later. I just – DJ Moore, Samuel, roll them all out.
Yeah. If you had to choose between Moore and Samuel in this matchup, which one would you choose? Not that like you're going to really have to, but just for the sake of argument here.
I think I've gotten it wrong every single week, but I will go with DJ Moore. I'll just take him. I feel like I've liked watching him more visually this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting more targets, even if Samuel is getting more air yards. So it is what it is there. I agree with you. I think DJ Moore is certainly the play with the higher floor. Samuel gets targeted more in the end zone. I don't know. There's pros and cons to each. I feel like that's going to be a huge DFS decision for me this week. Like, which of these guys is the guy that I'm getting behind? And I'm 100% getting it wrong. So I look forward to losing money watching whichever guy I don't choose catch all the touchdowns and go for 150 yards against the Falcons.
Yeah, those two dudes are just the Spider-Man meme where they're just pointing at each other. You?
Did you mention Olsen? Because we should be playing him, right?
Yeah, I basically put him on like the Jason Witten thing. Like, you don't want to, but they're every week starts, and you just plug and play them.
Yeah,
keep it rolling.
It's a great start this week. Should definitely be done. I'm going to take the Panthers.
I'm also taking the Panthers.
All right, Cowboys at Lions. Cowboys are a 5-point favorite. The over-under is 47.5. Stafford has a chance to go, supposedly. Keep an eye on it. If not, Jeff Driscoll will get the look again. And then Ty Johnson is in the concussion protocol. It's looking like there's going to be some sort of mix of J.D. McKissick and Paul Perkins in at running back. So let's start on this Lions side of the ball. I feel like I'm going to assume that Stafford does not go. Is that fair, or do you think that's a bad assumption?
His track record says he'll play, because I just feel like he's a tough son of a bitch. But
he's got a broken back, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm also in the mindset that like people will not let him play. So I feel like they hold him out at least another week, because I don't know, they kind of seem out of it right now, which is a shame because Stafford's just been so good. But yeah, you don't want that dude to get hurt. He's your entire team. So I feel like they'll hold him out.
Yeah, I mean, with that assumption, in the pass game, I'm only looking at Galladay. And I mean, even if Stafford does go with like his injury status, like I think I'm still only like, I don't know if the analysis changes between like very hurt Stafford trying to gut it out and Jeff Driscoll too much. So I think I'm going Galladay only in the pass game. And like in the run game, like I'm playing McKissick, but like I'd rather play Brian Hill in terms of like guys you could have gotten on the waivers.
Yes, that is a great way to put that. Like the only way you're playing McKissick is because he might get 5 targets and he might catch 3 of them.
Yeah, so it's only in PPR.
There's a very low floor. His ceiling is incredibly low. It doesn't seem like a great play. But if you're in like a really shitty spot, I don't know, what did he get? Like 7 targets last week. So who really knows? Also very dependent on if like Stafford goes by a miracle, but like we're saying, probably not.
Yeah. Okay. On the Cowboys side of the ball, completely different discussion to have, because I think this is another play everyone type of thing. What do you think here?
Yeah. I mean, nitpick, but like, are you going to play Randall Cobb?
He's right on the border. I think if you're desperate at wide receiver, like you could do it. And he's a guy who is also probably on your waivers. So like if you were desperate and needed to pick someone up, I'm not opposed to it, but I don't think it's needed to play him.
Yeah, I think you're chasing points. Like he just had a good game. You're more inclined to play him. Like I feel like everyone's really horned up on him and he's really had no good games besides the last one.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I'll probably stay away.
I think he beat 70 yards receiving for the first time all year this past week.
Yeah, and that might extend further into last year as well, or the last time he was active, because he's been kind of banged up. So I'm not trusting it. I'm going to look, to other guys. I don't know, maybe someone on the Jets like DT, or I'm trying to think who else. Maybe like McLaurin, like that kind of level. Like just play them over trying to pick out like a Randall Cobb, like Russell Gage over Randall Cobb.
Yeah, I like that. I like Gage over Cobb. I think that's the correct call. The rest of them, though, I mean, we should mention them by name at least once. Prescott, Elliott, Cooper, and Gallup are all must-plays.
You didn't say Witten.
I don't think Witten is a must-play. I think he's
been a must-play every single week, dude. 5 points.
He hasn't had a touchdown since like week 2 or whatever it is, week 4. I don't know.
I bet he scores this game.
Do you want to put something on it?
All right.
I don't want. No, I'm not doing this.
Yes, you are.
I'm not putting something on Jason Witten getting a touchdown against the fucking Detroit Lions.
All right. Little bitch.
Fine. What do you want to put on it?
I don't know. A single White Claw.
One single White Claw.
A big
deal. One big White Claw at the bar.
And we're going to forget anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, that is the shittiest bet of all time. I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Yes, sir. Cowboys for me.
All right, let's move to Jaguars at Colts. We have the return of the starting quarterbacks for both teams. So on the Jaguars side, Minshew Mania is unfortunately over for now.
I was going to say, like, he's definitely going to be at least a competent backup in the league, kind of floating around, right? Do you think he gets a starting shot anywhere? Like,
if I'm the Jags right now, I'm
keep him around.
I'm hoping Nick Foles like really overperforms himself over the next couple weeks, so I can fucking trade his big ass contract and then sign a bunch of free agents with Minshew on rookie money.
Oh, wow. That's more elevated than I was thinking. I was thinking like keep Foles around to groom him, but I don't know what that even means now that I said it out loud. Your way is way better.
I'm just thinking like we've seen a lot recently. Teams with quarterbacks on rookie contracts have the kind of money to build very, very good teams around them. And then if you have a competent enough quarterback on that rookie contract and you build the offense in the right way around them, the team can be successful.
Honestly, they kind of got a taste of it like this year while Foles was out because they were winning games that they maybe shouldn't have. And Minshew was doing very well.
And they got a taste of it that year that they went to the AFC Championship with Blake Bortles too.
Correct. So they've been doing – they're no strangers to this method.
Yeah. Like I think that might be like their strategy. Like if I was them, I don't know if I would bring Foles back because I don't know if he's going to up his trade value or lower it. And maybe I would want to hedge that and just kind of keep it where it is. But hey, if this motherfucker plays real well for the next couple weeks, you can probably trade him for some serious assets. You can get rid of that big old contract, and you can go after some guys in free agency. But
I like that a lot.
Thank you. Who knows, though? We'll see what happens. The point right now, Big Dick Nick has his big dick back out on the field. It's going to be an interesting game. I think there's a lot of plays here. We'll start on the Jaguars side. One, are you playing Nick Foles right off the bat, or are we giving him a week?
I would give him a week. Honestly, I'd probably give Foles a week. Coming back from injury, that sucks. Also, Dede Westbrook, too. He's coming back. If you need to play him, sure. I still think it needs to be seen for me to be confident in any of these plays.
Okay, are you on Shark or Conley?
I think you still play Shark because he's been great for you. Like you've owned him. That's probably a better question for you, honestly.
Oh yeah, I'm playing him like in a couple leagues.
He's arguably unsittable just the way he's been performing and don't forget Nick Foles. The last thing he did before he died was throw a bomb to Shark. And it was amazing.
It's a super small sample size, but him and Shark seem to have something going there a little bit.
Nah, dude, you extrapolate that one play over a 16-game season. They're both it's QB1, wide receiver 1, dude.
Yeah, I mean those are two fucking Hall of Famers right there. So not on Conley then. We're giving that a little bit of time too.
Especially with Westbrook coming back. Like I'm just Conley to the side. Like he was a cute play and it worked like once for the last couple of weeks. So I'm just gonna it's down to Westbrook and Shark for me.
All right, fair enough. Obviously Fournette is a good play here. You know, hopefully he'll fall into the end zone at some point. We'll see. On the Colts side of the ball, Jacoby Brissett also expected to come back. Their pass-catching targets, I don't know what the fuck to make of what this past week was. Again, I didn't get to see, the game. So I look at this brutal. I look at this fucking box score. Eric Ebron's got 12 targets.
So get this. We did the Von cast, and we didn't even talk about squeaky wheel narrative with Ebron. Because apparently, I didn't even know he was bitching about not being targeted. So, Frank Reich is like, you want targets, dude? Here it comes. And then they just lost the game because of it. Because they were force-feeding Ebron in, the worst situations. Horder was having a bad game. Mac wasn't getting it done. And it was just, embarrassing. It was a really, really bad game. Very unlike Frank Reich, to be honest.
Okay, so hopefully Frank Reich gets his shit back together a little bit. I'm not buying the 12 targets from Ebron. I still think Doyle's the better start there.
No, I'll always side with Ebron on that. It's touchdown upside every time.
Okay, Ebron just fucking sucks. He's bad. Let's talk about Zach Pascal. He had 7 targets. He only caught 2 of them this past week. I'm still rolling him out there. I mean, the Jaguars cornerbacks are not anything to worry about.
I was going to say, if you had Zach Pascal last week, he burned you, he fucked you, but I would definitely try to fit him in your lineup this week if you can. 7 targets from Brian Hoyer, not fantastic. If Brissett is going, I'm way more comfortable with rolling Pascal out there.
Fair enough. And then is Marlon Mack for you anything more than a touchdown-dependent RB2 at this point?
Are you talking out loud?
Yeah.
I think he's way better than the season he is having right now. I don't know how to describe what I'm
Dude,
seeing from Mac right now.
Dude, in weeks 2 and 3, he had 3 targets each week, and I was like, this guy's game script independent. 1 target over the past 3 games. Motherfucker has 59 carries and 1 target over the past 3 games. That's a touchdown-dependent RB2 if I've ever seen one. My fault for playing a touchdown-dependent RB2 with Brian fucking Hoyer as the quarterback, but now that Brissett's back, I think it should, like, hopefully please work out for me.
Yeah, and, like, you can run on the Jaguars. It can be, their defense isn't that great. Like, it's really weird to say because they do still have talent, but you can run on them. So I think Mac has one of his better games in, like, the last couple weeks here.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. You got the Jags or the Colts here?
I'm going to go with the Colts. Gods be good. Brissett is back.
I only choose guys with huge dongs, so I'm taking the Jags.
I think Brissett probably has a pretty long dong, but
that's probably true too.
Maybe they break even.
There's at least one guy on the Colts with a huge dong, right? There's got to be.
Quentin Nelson. That dude's probably got a jackhammer in there.
I bet you it's the smallest dong on the team.
That would be so funny. Dude's as big as the mountain and just like the smallest.
Like can't even be seen out of his bush, which he also definitely has. All right. With that being said, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with 3 more games from Week 11.
Have you thought about trying sports betting but aren't sure how it'll go? Our friends at FanDuel are giving away a $50 sign-up bonus at letstalkfantasyfootball.com/FanDuel-sportsbook.
All right, guys, thank you for sticking with us through that short break. We got 3 more games here in part 1 of the Week 11 preview. We're going to give them to you right fucking now. We're going to start with the Bills and the Dolphins. What a game. The Bills are 6.5-point favorites on the road. The over-under is 40.5 points. I guess starting with the Bills, how has John Brown turned into like the most narrow range wide receiver in the NFL? Guy gets between 11 and 15 points, PPR, full point PPR, every single week. This is John fucking Brown. And I'm not complaining about it because that's good. That's fine. But this is John fucking Brown.
Dude, as you know, in our league of record, I completely sold out to get him. I'm like, the stretch coming up is beautiful. The dude has like 7 to 10 targets a game. He's John Brown. And no breakout games at all. Please tell me it happens now. I need this bad.
I mean, I think it might. I'm pretty sure he has 1 catch of 30 yards or more the entire season, and it was week 1.
Which was a screen pass. It was not like a bomb or anything. It was a grab and go, like he juked the guy out of his shoes.
Josh Allen loves to chuck the ball deep. Like, what the
fuck
haven't done is happening?
And you know what? It was funny. I didn't really like take this into consideration, but when I traded for him, the home games against like the Redskins and the Eagles, where I was like, matchup is beautiful. That's going to be great. John Brown's going to go off. It's been super windy. And
yeah,
I'm like, oh yeah, duh. They play in Buffalo. I'm a fucking idiot.
Well, that's true.
That's probably why.
You've gotten bad luck with the weather on those couple. They're in Miami this week, so I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like. I'm hoping it's not like hurricane force winds in Miami. I'm hoping it's just nice weather, Miami. We'll sort of see, I guess. John Brown still a roll him out, definitely play. Josh Allen, I think, also still an obvious play this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Gods be good. Again, John Brown, please. Long touchdown. How do you feel about Cole Beasley?
I'm never on Cole Beasley, but like fine.
Touchdown dependent wide receiver 3.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. That sounds correct. Singletary's the preferred start at running back. Gore in the worst pinch of all time, maybe.
Nah.
Still no.
I'd play J.D. McKissick over Gore.
Yeah, me too. Not close, I don't think.
Exactly.
Singletary, he does this weird shit where he's on the field for a long time and doesn't touch the ball for some reason.
It's like they're psyching out the defense. Like, we're going to run it with our good running back.
Yeah, check it out. We brought in this rookie. We know he's good. Oh, we're not giving him the ball.
And then it's a play action 3-yard pass to John Brown.
Yeah.
Third and 6.
Then the next play, Josh Allen fumbles it. Yeah, I mean, that's all I got really on the Bills. I think you can play their defense for sure. Should we move to the Dolphins?
Sure.
Am I wrong to be on Kalen Ballage?
Yeah, probably. I understand where your head's at.
20-plus touches this past
Bills
week.
Are vulnerable at the run. I understand where your head is. I don't know. That's like I'd rather play him over Gore and McKissick like we were just talking about.
Yeah, he's well, is he a better play than Singletary, or is Singletary the better play?
Singletary is the better play.
Okay, thank you for telling me that. I still think Kalen Ballage is not a bad play this week. I think you can do worse. I wouldn't be surprised when he gets you 4.5 points, but you know, the idea of him falling in the end zone is not out of the entire realm of possibility. I don't think he's a good football player. I do think he's going to get 20-plus touches. The only other plays worth discussing here are probably Mike Gesicki and Devontae Parker, and I want no part of either of them.
Parker's out for me just because the matchup on Tre'Davious White, like you've had a good couple matchups with Parker, and there still are better matchups to come, like down the stretch. So keep holding on to Parker, but sit him this one. I to bring up another guy we're talking about, I'd probably play Russell Gage over Devontae Parker. And Gesicki, dude, yeah, roll him out. I'm fine with Gesicki. Like I have a very low standard for tight end. Like I know we used to just say like fuck tight end, whatever. If they get you 5 points, they're a must play.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not the wrong call there. I'm going to take the Bills.
Yes, sir. Sweep it.
All right, Broncos at Vikings. The Vikings are a 10.5-point favorite. The over-under is 40.5. That is not a promising sign for fantasy production. On the Broncos side of the ball, Brandon Allen is going to start. Drew Lock is back practicing for the Broncos. He is a guy who they potentially see as their quarterback of the future. So I would expect Brandon Allen to have a very short leash going forward. I would expect him to do very poorly in this matchup against the Vikings and then probably be benched. That being said, there are a couple plays we do need to talk about. The first is Cortland Sutton, who I still think is a good play.
I do too. At the very least, he's going to be targeted pretty heavily. So he proved to get it done against like the Browns corners, who have been doing pretty well against people. And he came up with a very nice touchdown grab on a very poorly thrown ball. So he can still get it done for you. Other guy I'm probably considering is probably Noah Fant, who like since Emmanuel Sanders left has seen the field 80% of the time. So I'm down with him as a stream as well.
Yeah, I'd rather be playing him than Gesicki, who we talked about it in the last game. Fant's an interesting guy. He the past 3 games, he had 5, 9, and then 4 targets. The only one of those games where he actually produced was the 4-target game, believe it or not, because he had that 73-yard touchdown where the Browns just forgot how to tackle a person.
It was pretty sweet.
It was pretty sweet. I had him in one daily lineup, and one of the big tournament lineups that I was playing, and I had him and Josh Jacobs, and they both scored touchdowns at the same time. And I had completely faded that Seahawks Tampa Bay game. And I looked at after those 2 touchdowns happened, I looked at it and I was like, if the game's ended right now, I'd be up like $2,000. And I ended up breaking even on the day because that fucking Seahawks Tampa Bay game just went nuts afterwards. But what can you do? That's a lesson in not sweating every single moment of the game, because you will ride a roller coaster of emotions. But yeah, those are the 2 guys you need to consider. I don't think either of them are bad plays. Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman, now that they're both healthy, are back to splitting snaps. I just think the floors are so low on these guys.
Yeah, and it's a rough matchup. Like, for them to be productive, they need to fall in the end zone, and that's pretty much very unlikely in this matchup. And they got 0 passing work when Brandon Allen was in against the Browns, which was very concerning. So, obviously, we haven't seen too much of like the Brandon Allen offense, but that was not a great sign for a game they were in control of. So I don't know if they're necessarily going to be in control of this game or what they do with it. So I'm just like, it's an unknown variable. But I think the only one you're really rolling out if you have to is probably Lindsey, and that's totally fine. He's still a top 20 running back.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Hill over both of them for me this week.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because the matchup, or you're just I guess splitting carries in the matchup.
I mean, the Broncos implied point total based on the Vegas odds is 15 points.
Yeesh.
Like, I want to catch – like, do I want to play a running back who I'm not confident is going to have more than 2 targets with a 15-point implied point total? Like, fuck no. Who's getting 50% of the snaps? Like,
yeah, you're really limiting yourself there.
Like, I mean, it's like, could it work out? Yes. Phillip Lindsay is very talented. Royce Freeman is also a talented guy. They might be able to break one. Man, I'm not pumped on that play.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just feel like this bye week is especially hard on running backs like Zeke, Aaron Jones. Like, you're missing a ton of people. So there could be situations where you just have to, like, and then in that situation, I say Lindsey's probably going to edge out Freeman this game.
Agreed. Like, I'd play both of them over Frank Gore.
Correct. But I'd play Kalen Ballage over both of them?
I think I absolutely would, because I think I can project about 18 touches pretty safely for Kalen Ballage.
Yeah. They'll get nothing, but at least your heart's in the right place.
Yeah, at least I can look at it and be like, he got those 18 touches. All right, Vikings side of the ball. Adam Thielen still not practicing. Stephon Diggs been very disappointing with Thielen out the past couple weeks. Who outside of Dalvin Cook do you trust here?
Nobody. I don't trust Kirk. It sucks. I don't trust Diggs, but I think you still have to play Diggs. And then I think if you play Rudolph, you're really chasing that touchdown, which he has had 3 in the last 3 games. So actually 4, I think. But yeah,
like, I'm pretty in on Rudolph as like a streamer. I think that's fine. I think if you really need to, you could use Irv Smith, but I would rather use Rudolph.
Yeah, I wouldn't be playing Irv Smith really, but yeah, I mean, if you're playing Rudolph, like, he's not necessarily getting any yards, but
they love him in the red zone.
Touchdown equity, man. So I don't blame you at all. But again, question was trust. I have 0 trust in anybody outside of Cook.
Fair enough. Shall we move on from this one? I'm going to take the Vikings.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, let's talk about where we rank Kirk. Would you rather play Kirk or Kyle Allen?
Kyle Allen.
Okay, I think that's all we need to know.
Also Derek Carr.
All right, there we go. Saints at Bucks, 49.5 point over under. The Saints are a 5.5 point favorite. I didn't actually put who's the favorite, did I? I'm assuming it's the Saints, right? It's got to be.
I believe so.
All right, cool.
I'm going to check that real quick just in case. But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I would think it has to be at that point. We're going to start on the Saints side of the ball. They had that unbelievable loss to the Falcons this past week. But, you know, I'm still confident in their offense as a whole. I think Drew Brees is a great start. Michael Thomas is going to break the record for catches in the season this year. After I said you should fade him because there's no way he can keep up the kind of efficiency that he's done.
Every time I read a stat on how awesome Michael Thomas is doing this year, I hear you like, fuck Kamara, fuck Drew Brees, fuck Michael Thomas. I'm like, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it's just, you know, my reasoning wasn't wrong.
Was good.
But there's some guys, and Tyreek Hill is one of those guys, and it took me 2 seasons to come around on him too. There are some guys where regular regression does not apply. Michael Thomas has established that he is one of those guys. Regression does not apply to him. And I'm accepting it now. It took me until, you know, about halfway through this season to accept it. But God damn, that guy is impossible to cover. So there you have it. Jared Cook had 10 targets this past week. Are we in on Jared Cook?
He's a must play.
Yeah, I completely agree. You must play ahead of all these guys that we've been talking about. As
anyone we said, yeah. Anyone we said this podcast.
Yeah, Jared Cook's a great play this week against this Bucs defense. Kamara was way ahead of Latavius in terms of snap percentage. I think that might have been because of the game script this past week. How do you feel about these running backs against this Bucs defense that has really shut down running backs?
Me and Don were kind of saying you could probably get a little cute and play Murray if you really needed to, just against the Falcons. But last week, obviously, it did not pan out whatsoever. I think against like a tough Bucs defense to run on, Murray is like completely out, and I think Kamara will be just fucking fine. I think he's gonna have a lot of catches regardless. And we really haven't seen him explode, and I feel like the Saints are gonna come out angry, and they're gonna involve their best players. It's gonna be Michael Thomas, Drew Brees, and Kamara going nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily believe the going nuts thing, but you're not sitting Alvin Kamara ever. So it's
really? I think he's gonna go off.
Dude, Christian McCaffrey hasn't like exceeded like 30 yards against the Bucs in 2 games this year. He got 20 plus points the one week because of 2 touchdowns and like 5 catches or whatever. Like it's like if McCaffrey's not doing it in this year, I'm not buying it for Kamara. I'm buying a solid performance.
Let's make another bet.
On what line for fantasy points?
I'll give you all right, so the over-under, I'll put it 18.5 fantasy points for Kamara.
PPR, full PPR.
Half PPR.
Oh, wow. I'll give you full. I'll give you I'll give you 15.
I'm definitely taking the over.
All right, I'm going to take the under, full PPR, 15 points. That's how confident I am in this Bucs defense. Watch me lose. We will bet one big White Claw at a bar. That's 2 big White Claws on the line.
2.
All right, who you got? Oh, wait. We didn't talk about the Bucs.
No, we didn't.
All right, so let's start with the Bucs run game because Rojo was supposed to be the guy, and then he fumbled it without being touched, and all of a sudden he wasn't the guy anymore. But he still led the team in receiving somehow this past week. He got 8 targets despite almost never being targeted in the pass game. Are you confident in Rojo as a home dog against the Saints defense?
I'm nervous, dude. I don't know what that passing work was. It was very confusing. They're just like targeting him like crazy. I don't know what to make of that. I don't think it's something you can trust, though. It was cool to see Bruce Arians say he's the dude and then like give him the full go and the full shot, but I don't know if you can, like, you're playing him, I'm assuming, if you have him, like, at least in your flex, which is not a bad spot to be in, but I'm very nervous to see. Like, last week I was way more confident than I am this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping the Peyton Barber work was like a 1-week punishment for him, that weird fumble.
Which actually, to go back earlier in the season, Ronald Jones missed a block and then gave up a dickload of carries and targets to Peyton. So I just don't know what Bruce Arians is thinking. So
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping he's like back to being the guy because he's been pretty good this year. The pass work, I have no idea what to make of. We'll sort of see. The other weird thing with the pass work this past week was O.J. Howard back from the dead.
I mean, it was the Cardinals, dude. We got to remember. It was the best matchup, and Bruce Arians is not a bad coach, so he's like, let's go. Also, he's been, banged up.
Yeah. So are you playing him this week?
No, I am not.
Okay.
I'd rather play Jason Witten. I'd rather play Gesicki.
Noah Fant?
I'd rather play Noah Fant. Pretty much anyone.
Okay, I don't disagree. I don't think that's the wrong call at all. Just wanted to kind of see where you were at there. And then the news that we should have brought as well is that Marshawn Lattimore currently has a hamstring injury. He is not necessarily going to play. Keep an eye on the news there. But I think that makes Evans and Godwin both very, very good plays. And then obviously Jameis along with them.
Yeah, I agree. And a fun fact, Mike Evans will tie Jerry Rice if he gets 72 yards, I believe, and he'll be 6 straight seasons with over 1,000 yards, which AJ Green came just short of.
That's so crazy because, like, you don't think of Mike Evans in, like, those historical terms because he's just so fucking inconsistent and he makes such boneheaded plays sometimes. But it's all right there.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because when they told him that he was close to that record, he's like, yeah, I pride myself on my consistency. So I was like, fantasy people do not believe that, but we know where you're coming from.
He prides himself on his consistency where like every year at the end of the year, he's got 1,300 yards, but getting to that 1,300 yards is the least consistent thing that you've ever seen in your life.
Also, the audacity for any receiver that like Jameis Winston throws to say like you pride yourself on consistency. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean like the you know, over 365 days, like I guess like I consistently go to work for like most of them, you know, but like that doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to work every day. Like, it's a very, very weird remark on his part, but
yeah, I was like, what are you getting at, Mike?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take the Bucks in a 2-week straight upset on the Saints.
No, Saints slam ass.
All right, you're probably gonna be correct there. That's gonna do it, guys, for part 1 of the Week 11 preview. Vinny and I will be back with part 2. So keep an eye out for that. It should be coming at you on Saturday morning. We'll have 6 games left. We will try and get through it and get you guys all the information that you need. Vinny, you got anything to leave the people with?
No, have a fun week 10. Enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll see you back here.
Week 11. Holy shit, kill me.
Yep, definitely gonna do that. Hope you enjoyed your week 10 and enjoy your week 11. That's what Vinny meant to say. We'll be back with 6 more games, guys. And for Vinny, I am Walsh. We are Let's Talk Fantasy Football. Later, podcast.
This has been Let's Talk Fantasy Football. Thanks for listening.